If this is the DC Universe's way of saying it's time to brighten things up, they succeeded. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on Stargirl Episode 2. And guys, I just love this episode. It was a great way to start things off. Had some things here that I didn't like or they could have done better with. But in the end, it was still a great episode. A great way to introduce us to this new dynamic of a new DC Universe show that, for one, is completely different that have come from the DC Universe so far. From Titans to Swamp Thing to Doom Patrol, those things all have some similarities with the adult content. But this one here, this one goes in a more lighter content. Sure, it has some adult language words that you don't really see in kids shows or anything, but still, it's on a more lighter tone compared to the other three that originally starts in the DC universe. And yeah, Stargirl also has a great way of showing this thing with family drama, high school drama, and superhero drama going on in this new universe. And yeah, if you guys don't know, this is on Earth 2 in post-crisis time. But where the time takes place and everything, no one really can say, because all they just say is 10 years ago, the original JSA was defeated, and then 10 years later, a new one is going to emerge. That being with Stargirl, Courtney, her stepdad, Pat, Stripes, and then Wildcat, Hourman, and Dr.Mid-Nite, who, speaking of which, we at least get to see a quick glimpse of each of those three who will be joining her later on. And I did like the way they introduced those three. They introduced them as people who are just similar to Courtney. They don't really have anyone to talk to. Don't really have any friends or anyone else that they can connect with. They're kind of isolated, as it were. And speaking of isolation, with Courtney, how we're introduced to her, all I can say is it kind of reminds her situation with a stepdad and how her life has changed in so many different ways. It's pretty much reminded me of Bumblebee, and by that I mean the main lead cast girl in that role, and how like her life changed and she began develop a friendship with Bumblebee. Well, on this one, you got Courtney, who develops a friendship with the Cosmic Staff. Yeah, guys, I don't really know much about Stargirl, but I'm pretty sure I don't think the staff was ever alive. At least from what I've gathered. After watching this episode, it's got me inspired to read Stargirl and Stripes, that one comic book series that was made by Jeff Johns and stuff. But either way, from what I've researched on before seeing this, I'm pretty sure that staff wasn't alive. So the mere fact that that staff's alive and that it's actually talking with her, that took me by surprise, but I loved it. I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting. Her and a staff and actually talking and actually having a friendship partnership here. This should be interesting. Especially with the fact that it's that staff that at the beginning when it took her outside and made her go in her first fight, it was the one actually doing all the fighting and stuff. But what I did love was how the one who's playing as Courtney, I'm sorry I can't remember her name right at the top of my head, but she did an amazing job with keeping up with it when she was starting to realize that staff was alive and how it's making all the moves and everything. But her, with her gymnastics skills, made sure to follow along with it so it can look like they're both working together in sync. I love that right there. But I definitely also loved how that staff was laughing after it blasted one of those kids' cars, because the fact that staff was laughing made me really be like, oh, this is really gonna get interesting. I definitely like where this is gonna go. But it's not just Courtney's dynamics and relationship with the staff that is interesting and look like it'll be one of the highlights of this series. It's also her dynamics with her new stepdad, that being Pat, who she didn't know but then discovered that he was actually Stripes. I'm not gonna say that other one because that just sounds weird. A bad name right there. I'm gonna have to agree with Courtney on that. I'll just say it once. Stripey? No. But I did like how that's another similarity there from the Bumblebee movie. How like she's not opened up to her new stepdad, I don't remember correctly for Bumblebee. I'll need to recheck on that. But for her, she lost her real dad, which I'm going to get into here later because they put a little plot in with that. And that she's not accepting of her stepdad. But after finding out that his secret about the JSA and all this other stuff, she started to talk with him, and that's when you really started to see the dynamics from the communication standpoint. Their dynamics were already really great when she wasn't even trying to connect with him, but it's when they really started to talk that things got to be more interesting, and I can't wait to see more of that father-daughter dynamic going forward. It promises to be really interesting on that end. And now going into her father, it's pretty clear that in this series, I don't know if this is in the original story either, but it's seeming that they're hinting to us or letting us know right off the bat that the original Starman, who we saw at the beginning with the original JSA at the beginning of this show, is Courtney's father, because the cosmic staff is only working for her, and her father disappeared the same time as the JSA died and everything. So yeah, those are pretty good solid evidence to show that, yeah, Starman's her father and stuff. I can't wait to see more of it, to explore how things were, because what Courtney's mom did say is that he was only in her life and showed up to Courtney to see her once a year until he died. But this will definitely be interesting, a good story dynamic going forward, to see why did he only show up once a year. I mean, I get it, he's a superhero and stuff, but I'm pretty sure he could have still showed up sometime around and everything. And yeah, if he was married to her and stuff, now, don't get me wrong, guys. I understand why people keep the secrets. They say it's to protect them, and I get that. I do get that. But for how long those two have been together, before he died, made me wonder why he never told her. But then again, the same could be said for Pat. But either way, it'll all be interesting to see how that is going forward. Now, real quick, let me also talk about some of the things I didn't like about it, but it didn't bring it down. It didn't bring down the episode at all, either way. And that was really the beginning, how they were showing us the demise of the JSA. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have put that in there. It's good that they did and stuff, but it didn't really give us much to go off on in general, to say the least, for the most part. I mean, all it really was that Pat was a sidekick. He showed up at the end when he was too late to save everybody, and just gave us Starman's death along with all the other JSA members' death, and showing us some of the Injustice Society members and stuff. But that really wasn't really much to go on off of that. It was like, they show up here and then it's all just gone after that, like we're just supposed to wave it off. And that's also where it also made us lack with a sense of villains, so to speak. Now, we did get to see some of the villains at the beginning and during the course through the episode, but they were just kind of there as background characters, which is understandable, mind you. It is understandable. This was all about Courtney and her life with her family to show us where they're at, but it still would have been great that they could have shown us a little more on the villain side about things, because one of the things we learned is that Pat moved everyone to Blue Valley because that's where the Injustice Society is at right now. And yeah, you also look at that town when they first come in there, everyone's so friendly, and there's nothing against that, guys. There's nothing against that. But there is also a time when stuff like that happens, that you find some dark secrets lying in the town, and that things aren't always what they seem. Because when I was looking at how the camera was panning on some of these people, some of them, not all of them, just a few of them seemed off, like you knew there was something strange about them. And especially one where there was a janitor in the high school of Courtney's, that he seems off too. But as a villain, I don't know. Maybe more as something of a neutral acquaintance. That's just my guess though. But also, what else to speak of? Oh yeah, let's talk about the special effects for the Stripes robot of Pat's. First off, I loved how he was introduced, to him being shown his new garage and everything, and that in an instant like that, he already made the the robot suit, or maybe he had it all along. But still, the special effects for it are actually pretty good. Just if you guys are some of y'all who don't like it or the special effects, let me just let y'all know that when it comes to TV budgets, I don't really expect the CGI to always be all that good, like on a movie level. Now, if they can do something close to it, that's cool, and this actually isn't too bad for what it gives us. And I actually can't wait to see more of what they do with it going into the next few episodes, because I have seen some of the trailers to show him shooting like a rocket punch out there, or some missiles and stuff. I can't wait to see what all that does, and how this new dynamic for Courtney and Pat working together and becoming partners, and how they will make them grow closer together will be. And speaking of which, I almost forgot to mention this. One thing I have come to find interesting about this Stargirl and Stripes dynamics is how roles are reversed, in the sense that the hero is Stargirl, the sidekick is Stripes. Like, the adult's the sidekick, the kid's the hero. Unlike with Batman and Robin, so to speak. It is very interesting on that end, so I definitely can't wait to see what it does for us on that end. But I think that is it for now, guys. I don't think I really have much else to say, other than the fact that I'll give this episode an 8 out of 10. A great way to start off the series, and I can't wait to see what the next 12 episodes will bring to us. But until then, guys, I love this new light tone direction and all this stuff we were introduced to, and I can't wait to see how the other JSA characters get involved. But until then, guys, I'm going to leave it all at that, and if you're enjoying my videos, all you got to do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos, and until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!